As the 21st century unfolds, global warming is not sparing the savannah. In Tanzania, the Ruaha River is dry, and the few remaining ponds are teeming with animals. The creatures of the savannah are forced to flee, while a cortege of predators follows. Victims in the riverbed of sand will soon number in the dozens. The animals will have to fight over the smallest pond or ephemeral puddle, or even beg for a few muddy holes abandoned by the elephants. A life or death quest for water is underway in this part of Tanzania. The clan of an old lioness may well dictate the rules of this battle. The old lioness can't remember such a severe drought in the region, a drought that forces the animals to leave the plain. The Ruaha River is empty. The dry riverbed is now home to just a few scorpions and scattered animals too weak to follow their kind. These female kudu have been waiting a long time for some sign from the sky, a few providential drops. They have finally resigned themselves to follow the columns of impalas which have already left in search of water. Probably guided by an age-old instinct, the herbivores head upstream towards the source of the river. Too bad for stragglers who haven't yet joined the ranks. The lionesses are stalking, all senses sharpened due to the water shortage. The target is a water buck. The weary animal is extremely vulnerable in these tall grasses, where visibility is virtually zero. Barely 1 month ago, this pride of lions would have had to swim in what is now no more than a river of sand. The kill is welcome for this large family which is starving to death. This is the clan of the southern lionesses, 7 females and 13 cubs with 1 matriarch. Hunger has abolished the usual rules. They all devour the prey without respect for hierarchy. Not a single drop of blood, not a single piece of fat will remain on the carcass. The days go by, and the savannah still awaits from the sky its measure of rain, in vain. The old lioness, on a hill above the dry riverbed, can't bring herself to leave. Her sisters, her daughters, and their cubs are exhausted, but the matriarch is determined to hold this hard-won lookout. The cubs are clearly impatient. They haven't eaten for nearly 4 days. The young ones are hungry and thirsty. Their mother can only offer a few comforting nuzzles. The felines are not yet aware of the impact of the water shortage. Junior, one of the 3 youngest cubs, is still fragile. If his clan starts moving quickly, he won't have the strength to follow, and he will die. The vervet may remember the time when the waters of the Ruaha River were high, when life flourished. time when it constantly carried a plentiful, nourishing flow of water. The rainy season lasted several months, participating in the rich, sustained ecosystem. Now, its sparkling waters are nothing more than a remote dream. Scorching heat, dust. In a few hours, these gusts have dispersed the prey and dashed the pride's hopes for a new meal. A herd of buffalo, which came up from the south, traveled throughout the night before making a brief stop. These ruminants require a large amount of water, at least 8 gallons a day. So despite their exhaustion, they have to set off again. A slight quiver runs through the lioness's territory. It's unusual, almost imperceptible, and yet it's enough to wake the lethargic pride. The trampling of hooves resonating on the packed earth acts like a signal. It is time to leave, to follow this abundant source of meat. Although most of the lionesses are weakened by hunger, and the voyage seems dangerous for the cubs, they have to follow the pride, stay together at all cost. Death is omnipresent in the bush, embodied by the dark messengers that can spot a carcass several miles away. The victim is a young giraffe who died of thirst. Vultures and jackals fight over each piece of skin and flesh, right down to the guts. The competition is vicious. The vulture is a perfect carcass cleaning machine. Whether the scavengers like it or not, anything that gives strength to the young during periods of scarcity is fair game. Lionesses are rarely picky, even with rotted remains or a few bones to chew on. With the drought, the leopard also had to change its habits. Usually, it only comes down from the trees at night, when it's invisible to the lions and the hyenas. The increasing scarcity of game has forced it to leave its above-ground shelter, to cross invisible boundaries into the territory of a family of jackals worried for its pups. The leopard does not fear these prowlers, but they can thwart its plans. For several days, the feline has been storing up meat in a series of hiding places. This impala, killed at dawn, is far too heavy to be carried to safety in a tree. Yet the leopard must protect it from the scavengers, which follow closely behind. It covers the scent of the meat by scraping the ground and soaking the area with its scent. The carcass can remain hidden for a few days. The leopard doesn't mind cured meat, but it doesn't like pests who are after his food. This season, competition is tough for the small predators. Another day is over. In the Iringa region, survival has become an ordeal. In its migration, the herd of ruminants has to cross the territory of the northern lionesses. The buffalo is viewed as one of the most unpredictable and most dangerous animals in Africa. Attacking a herd of 200 of these beasts is suicidal. But the drought and hunger can change all the rules. The lioness is not about to release this ton of muscle, but her adversary is tough and she needs help. The final blow is unbearable. The lions are ferocious. The outcome was never in doubt. In utter confusion, the buffalo, separated by the attack, try to regroup. It's a final desperate attempt, but all in vain. Nightfall did not bring the expected cool temperatures. The youngsters play at dawn before it gets too hot. The elephants are not yet looking for shade. With no green grass, they feed on tree bark and branches, devastating entire groves. At dawn, a waterhole appears in the dry Ruaha Riverbed. The water is much in demand. It refreshes the zebras and impalas following a route northward. The animals have to hurry, drink what they can, because the arrival of 500 buffalo doesn't augur well for the future of this waterhole. Despite incidents along the way, the herd of buffalo has retained its lead over the pride of lionesses. They trample and roll in the water, quickly eliminating all traces of the pond. The lionesses stand little chance of reaching this precious source of water. The buffalo draw strength in numbers. Regrouped, their horns protruding, they form a shield that the weakened lionesses cannot breach without harm. But things can change quickly in the savannah. A lion, more convincing than its peers, claims the site as its own. Walking, to the point of exhaustion, trampling the dust, heading north along the route marked out by the columns of herbivores ahead, never giving up, despite the grueling heat. Lions, buffaloes, kudus, and up ahead, elephants and giraffes, all seeking the same essential source of life. Finally, after walking for several days, the need for water growing increasingly urgent, a signal is heard among the animals. They come running from all directions as the euphoria spreads. Kudus are finally rewarded after the long trip. The elephants are relieved. They need so much water. A large adult male drinks nearly 60 gallons a day. Yet, if necessary, they can draw on their resources and survive several days without water. Warthogs, zebras, water bucks, and impalas resume their lives on the banks of the Ruaha River with an abundant supply of thick green grass. Giraffes and elephants find their favorite meal again, acacia leaves. The buffalo, more sedentary than the other herbivores, suffered severely from the drought. Hundreds converge on the Waterhole. The clan of the southern lionesses is finally close to its goal. As usual, the mothers and cubs lag behind. Utterly exhausted, the pride finally discovers the promise of a better future. The matriarch has found another excellent lookout point on a branch of a river. Junior and his brother survived the ordeal. After this long expedition, it's time for cat naps and maternal affection. The prey is tempting, almost within reach, but the lionesses don't have the energy to attack a powerful battalion of horns. The two camps weigh each other up. One side keeps an eye on the aggressors. The other, although racked with hunger, assesses the strength of its adversary. The lionesses approach, though without much conviction, without the strength they need to attack a herd already on the move. Tonight, everyone will rest. The night was refreshing, but the lions are famished. They are prepared to take major risks. The buffalo have sensed the trap. But these lionesses are experienced killers who know how to attack such a compact mass of animals. They spread out, strike wherever they can to disrupt the herd and disperse the animals. In the heat of the panic, a weak, isolated, and probably ill animal pays the price. Disoriented, the buffalo have regrouped to form a shield. It's a useless attempt. The lionesses have won. Dawn reveals that there is collateral damage. The pride did not come through the hunt intact. A lioness was wounded. However, if she doesn't get an infection, there's a good chance she will heal in just a few days. Junior, however, seems more seriously injured. During the night, the cub found himself in the heart of the battle. Surrounded by the panicking herd, he received a single kick which broke his pelvis. Now, he's dragging his small, half-dead body and is unable to hide his distress from his mother and his uneasy brother. In nature, there's no point worrying about the weak. The injured and the ill, as well as the elderly, represent a risk for the entire group. The pride is once again gathered around the remains of the buffalo killed the day before. The animals don't plan on leaving a single piece of meat to the scavengers. The little cub is brave. His family may have given up helping him, and his chances of survival are extremely slim, yet he hangs on. An obstacle appears. What was yesterday a small climb, a playground, has become an unsurmountable mountain for him. What to do when you can no longer use your hind legs? Unexpectedly, a big brother has returned in response to his cries. His support is awkward, ineffective, but just enough to inspire the disabled little cub. With their experience, the adult females have given up on the cub, but the young lions can't imagine giving up one of their own. The vultures may have decided that the end is unavoidable, but the cub has decided otherwise. He looks for a more accessible path, struggles, doesn't give up. This limping fighter, licking her wounds, understands the cruelty of fate in this environment. Even if life is hanging only by a mere thread, one must hold on. It hasn't rained for 6 months. In this part of the Ruaha River where the animals have taken refuge, water is already becoming scarce. Despite the pressure, the hippos have no intention of giving up their spot. An unpredictable face-off between two one-ton heavyweights. The buffaloes stand together, and the hippo is finally forced to give up its spot. Perhaps forgetting how hard it is to find a suitable bathing hole. No other hippo will let him in. Here, each one defends its own tiny pond ferociously. Smearing his excrement around will permit the owner to conclude the battle, affirm his domination, and clearly mark his ownership of the small puddle. The intruder has to leave, resigned to heal his wounds elsewhere. The heat is oppressive. The herbivores have continued their migration, and the vultures finally have the last bit of evaporating pond all to themselves. Junior's mother doesn't know how to help her son catch up to the pride. Unfortunately, he's too heavy to be carried in her mouth like a kitten. Thanks to his mother's care and help from the others, Junior is still alive. But while his brothers are getting stronger and healthier every day, his paralysis has stopped his growth. He's living on borrowed time, but living, and that's enough for the moment. He must continue to gain strength, not need assistance from his family, and especially to appear strong. Because if the disabled cub seems weak, the pride will abandon him. The puddles and pools on the river of sand are now just memories. Despite a few signs from the sky and a few drops that evaporate quickly, the rain still hasn't appeared. Near the river of sand, the animals gather their young together more or less urgently. Each species has different needs for water. For adults and young ostriches, which can survive in arid environments, this amount is minimal. But water is vital for the baby elephant. Its herd can travel more than 50 miles per day looking for it. Without a pond, the hippo has no chance of survival. Its skin is fragile, and it needs water to keep it from drying out. Finding nothing better, the elephants dig in the river of sand looking for damp spots. A few drops which are enjoyed by the youngest elephants. Under normal conditions, the impala gets much of its water from the lush green grass. During periods of drought, it has to find 2.5 quarts daily. Zebras require about 2.5 gallons. The lionesses have other problems. With the drought, their hunting strategy has been severely put to the test. Their prey is scarce, and the lack of tall grass interferes with their ambush and camouflage techniques. They try and try again, without much conviction. They'll have to get used to sleeping on empty stomachs. Junior is close to exhaustion. He is desperately struggling to keep up with his family. Will the encouraging nuzzling be enough to give him the strength needed to continue the journey to the north? One last drink from a water hole dug by an elephant. The whole clan is extenuated, yet they must set out. Life is tortuous. The slightest step demands such an effort. Junior is losing more and more ground. A male approaches, proudly displaying his power. He tolerates the females on his territory, but the master of this spot insists on his due and helps himself to the food. He marks his boundaries with a stream of urine to clearly designate ownership. And to make it even more permanent, he steps in and kicks it around. The pride of female lions is not afraid to let profiteers know that they have to keep their distance, even when they don't quite measure up in size. In the Iringa region, the temperature is scorching in October. In a few days, this refuge, which has sheltered the animals from the south seeking water, has dried up. Nothing but sand remains in the branches of the Ruaha River. The drought is spreading like a devastating virus that nothing can stop. Further upstream, closer to the source, the situation is not much better. The animals have to start moving again, keep their hopes up by trudging upstream. The lionesses have settled in with this profiteer, where they have been waiting for the rain for too long. But perhaps the truth lies elsewhere. Perhaps they simply didn't want to undertake a migration impossible for Junior. The final nudges of encouragement or adieu between a mother and her baby. A bit of comfort before abandonment and, inevitably, death. Postponing the group's departure could compromise the pride's future. They have to leave this spot, which doesn't suit their needs. From the height of its 16 feet, the giraffe is the best adapted mammal for scanning the horizon, and wherever its eyes settle, there's nothing but desolation. Kudus and impalas have to get by with dry straw, which is less nourishing than young grass. The zebras are also on a dry straw diet. The rainy season is now 1 month late. Now that they don't have to protect Junior, the lionesses have been able to catch up to the herbivores. It's 113 degrees Fahrenheit in the shade, much too hot for hunting. The lionesses built up their strength at great cost. They have to avoid wasting it unnecessarily. They have to wait for a more favorable time, the late afternoon, when the temperature has dropped and it's less exhausting to run. A demonstration of a tried and true attack strategy. First, they assess the distance, then spread out. Their bodies stretched out, flattened to the ground, each lioness waits for the others to get into position. Finally, they charge in from every direction to create panic and disperse the herd. It's virtually impossible to escape this ambush. After a 6-month wait, the rumbling sky alerts the nomadic groups that the rains are coming. The lionesses from the south and their cubs won't have to worry about finding food and water anymore, at least for a few months. The animals of the Great Plain prepare for torrential rain and spend hours soaking it up. The life-giving rain has finally arrived, 2 months late. 2 months that threatened the survival of the lion pride and cost Junior and hundreds of other animals their lives. One week of rain is enough to revive the Ruaha River. In a few days, the banks will again be lush. Once again, abundance will reign, along with a new carefree period. The lion cubs were born during the drought. For 6 months, they lived within a family constantly on the alert. Now, they finally discover the happiness of maternal affection. For the first time, they can enjoy the lush green carpet of grass, the pleasures of lazing around and playing. And yet, the wild animals on the banks of the Ruaha River are living on borrowed time. Because of changing climatic conditions, the rainy season arrives a little later and is considerably much shorter. Nature has become highly unpredictable, and humans are partly to blame. They have just constructed a dam to produce electricity and store water for farming. It's an additional threat that weighs on this vulnerable paradise. A paradise that could return